This is our Citroen DS4 and it's been a problem child from the get-go. It served us better than some of the cars that we have owned, but has needed some work along the way. It's had its steering rack replaced, the aircon replaced, the rear brakes replaced, multiple drop links replaced, top mounts replaced, ABS sensors replaced, cam belts replaced, and the god-awful winter tyres giving us awful handling and vibrations replaced. But now here we are, left with a car that's fully working, right? No. After the ABS sensors were replaced, the car drove beautifully. No issues whatsoever. That was until it went into limp mode again. I was going to make a video on this car literally today to say that the car's been fixed, the drop link and the top mount's been fixed. Brits are almost kill me. When the car goes into limp mode, you cannot regain power unless you stop and turn the car off and on again. Doing this whilst driving doesn't work. You have to be fully stopped in order to do it. And after some diagnosis with the OBD scanner, we found an issue with the fuel rail pressure sensor. So as I've just said, I've run a few codes on this car already and it's leading to this fuel rail pressure sensor, which is all the way behind this battery, behind all this intake pipes and so on and so forth, all the way in the centre of the engine down below there. It's not going to be an easy job to get to, and this is not the proper way of doing it, but I've ordered the part and the part is literally that. So this is what's causing the car to give out incorrect readings to the ECU, throwing it into a limp mode. So this simple little contraption here is what's causing this car to stall out on us and go into limp mode. So we need to take the battery out, we need to take the intake pipes off, we need to move the battery tray out of the way, we need to move this out of the way for the reservoir for the brake fluid. We need to take the top of the engine part off here, take off the airbox, gives us a bit of more room, and then somehow try and fiddle our way in to get that off. Now that was a bit more of a pain than I could have asked for. So this connector is now off, finally, but the orange clamp, you can probably see just down there, has fallen off it. These stupid connectors, honestly, don't want to come off, and when they do, they bloody break. Anyway, this is off, so hopefully this should, if I move this out of the way, let's put that there, this should, it says, come off like so. More useful plastic, I'm sure. I can go down there. So, is that a Halford's battery? It bloody is. That's why that's so loose. I didn't even know that. Now we've had this car for a bit and I never knew that this came off. That'd make it so much easier if that was to come off completely, but I don't think it is. There's a bolt there and I could try and take off, but I'm not going to mess with it. I just want this bit to come off. She's off. What the? Oh my lord. That's concerning. Well, I mean, that's one way of getting off the top mount, I suppose. Now, because I'm intelligent, I can see there's a lot of crap on that. So, just in case, I just want to cover up that pipe. I don't want any crap going in there. I've just seen the biggest f***off spider I've ever seen. Look at that right there. Hiya, mate. You having a good time? Oh my. Is this the entire firewall? Oh my. Guys, look at the state of that. I just want to show you guys how much room we have now to play with, but also the amount of stuff that we've had to take off. Fun times. Right, I'm gonna have to use the camera for this. So somewhere, right, I can see it right there. Right, let's see if I can show you then. So right there in the centre of your screen there is the sensor in question. Trying to get the camera to focus there. That there, right in the middle now, that's the sensor. Right. Now, in order for us to get that off, I need to somehow get my hands in and try and locate it with just my hand, which is extremely great fun. Let's not beat about the bush. So, where are we again? There we are. That there. So now, so I can see where my finger is, and aha, I've got it. Okay. Now, there's not a lot of room to work with, but I think we can get it. So there is a connector, that's the top of it, but I need to try and get under it somehow. So I've run into a little bit of a problem. My 27mm socket that I have to fit for the connector doesn't fit. It's too shallow for it to reach the plug. So I need a deep 27mm socket. The problem is the Vectra's dead, and that's a part, and I have no other car. So I'm going to have to wait for my knight in shining armour to arrive after buying one. Fun times. What a bull of an idea. So, sorry about that language, guys. This connector, I've spent over 2 maybe hours trying to get this damn connector off. But it's off. So, not only that, we've got what we need to unbolt it off. So, let's finally get this job done. It's currently 10 to 5. So long as I can get that sensor changed and I put the new one in, get the connector back in, I can bolt everything back up and have this job done, because I'm fed up now. I really am. Right, now, next problem is going to be how I'm going to get it in there. Realistically, you have to remove the water pump housing in order to gain access, which seems like a great idea to some. However, after our last run-in with a Citroen with a similar issue reminded us from a previous video, this caused yet more problems than what's necessary. Therefore, going off a video someone else made briefly on this, replacing coolant, water pump and gasket was not a viable option, and time at this point was not on our side. Therefore, just like others have done, I decided not to touch it. Right, I'm so happy now. I've got finally this little thing out. All that work for this. It's now, what are we on? 25 minutes past 5. We started this around 12. All for that. And now we've got the old one out, but now we've got to get the new one in. Hopefully it's not going to be as difficult. Trying to get this sensor installed was no easy feat. You have to have very small hands to gain access to the hole it fits back into. Oh shit. No. Oh, maybe I can. Maybe. Shit, I don't want to lose the sensor. Such a tight space. It's ridiculous. Oh, I'm now at the wrong angle. No. Come on. And like I said, it's too tight of a gap to accurately tighten it back into place, especially with my hands, resulting in me dropping the new sensor into the abyss of the engine. Just grab the thread. Right, hang on. Oh no, you are kidding. Oh no. I've lost it. So you join me back in the DS4 and I've got some explaining to do. So the job didn't go as smooth sailing as I would have wanted it to. Let me explain. So I ended up dropping the new sensor in the engine somewhere and I couldn't get it for love nor money. So I was in a pickle. I thought, right, well, what I've got now is the old sensor, which I have now eventually taken out, and the new sensor I've lost in the car. Now you're probably asking, I'm driving the car, so what happened? Well, I invited a friend along to give me a bit of a helping hand, should I dare say, and we put the old sensor back in. Now when we turned the engine over to make sure it started okay, which obviously it did, the new sensor dropped out of the engine bay onto the floor. Now this is a failed repair video because the old sensor's still in the car. I haven't put the new sensor back in because of the amount of pain in the arse it was to get everything off, to get it out, and limited space to get your hands in. Now, after putting it back in, putting the car back together, as you can see, I am driving the car and it's driving fine. If anything, the clutch pedals got lighter, which I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign, but it's a positive lightness. It's not heavy anymore. The steering has got a little bit heavier, but then that could be just me thinking about it. But the car's driving fine. Now, I've put the car through its paces on this little trip that I've just done, and it's driving fine. It's not throwing up any codes. So in a second I'm going to plug my OBD back in, plug it in, and see if it's detected anything, because I've done a couple of miles now since we've reset the car. To me, I think it's doing okay. It's driving smoothly, the aircon's on, and I've took it on a good 10 mile journey, and it seems to be okay. And it was an actual pain in the backside, this was. Now, if it's throwing up no codes, could it be that I just needed to unplug the sensor, plug it back in for a good connection, possibly? Was it possibly shorting out a little bit? God knows. But all I can tell you right now is the car's driving fine, and I would say it's running smoother than what it was. Only time will tell. Now, I did a little bit more research on the fault that I was getting, and a couple of people were saying, have I checked the fuel filter? Now, the funny thing is we've had the fuel filter changed on the service, but was it actually done? Now, I still haven't checked the fuel filter, but the car appears so far to be driving okay. So I'm a bit lost. So I'm going to pull over now, and I'm going to find out whether there's still a problem that still exists. Get up the hill. There we go. But at the minute, seems to be driving okay. So after doing another check, it's still coming up with a fuel rail pressure sensor issue. So the fault hasn't been cured. However, it's coming up with the fuel rail pressure sensor issue, but it's not reading this time that it's too high. Now, could that be because the engine hasn't run long enough? I'm not sure. It should be at operating temperature now. So a bit of a weird one. But the car starts smoother, it drives smoother, I find. So maybe it's done its some good, but driving it on a daily basis will be the only telling point. But when it comes to getting that sensor done, we might not do it, or we might get a garage to do it. So stay tuned, and whatever you do, do not do this job yourself, because it's an absolute pig of a job. And unless you've got really small hands and long fingers potentially, then that'd be the only way you'd be able to do this job with ease. We were lucky to get the old one back in, but I did genuinely feel like this car was going to be dead for a couple of days. But no, next day it's back up and running, and a new sensor's back in the unit. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm so sorry about not following it through. I wish I could have put the new sensor on and tested it that way, but these mistakes happen. It's a pig of a job to do on this car. Made even worse that it's in the DS4. If it was in the Peugeots or the bigger Citroens, or even just the C3, or the normal C4, wouldn't have been an issue, but because half the engine's covered up by the scuttle panel, you're very limited for access. Anyways guys, thanks for watching this video. If you like the fail and you like the video, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and stay safe.
My life be like bruh.
What the dog doing?
Hey dog, you get some ice cream?
Only a spoonful.